Hey everyone, I want to do a quick overview of our new sim own boost stock feature over the solver for our simulator. This works for both NFL and golf. So in short, this is designed to allow you to either boost or dock someone's ownership in the simulator, um, just based on how many times you want to hit the button. This goes up to 5 times. In general, each consecutive click will be a bigger delta of how much it increases or decreases ownership. So if one click increases it, 1%, 2 clicks will not be 2%, it will be larger. However, we're not really assigning a specific percentage on this because it's going to work a little different based on the ownership of the player and how closely they are projected in ownership to other players and just the slate in general. If there's only one expensive running back on the slate and they're coming in very owned, the sim owned button will change their ownership in a different manner versus if you boost a player where there's like 5 players of the same salary and the same ownership and they're all sort of competing for lineup shares. So in general, it's going to be different based on the different players. So we encourage you to play around with how much each click boosts or docks the ownership of a player. It is definitely not going to be like exact like 1% or 5% or anything like that. The next thing I want to point out is that this is not meant to take a player out of the sims. So if we have someone projected for ownership, you can hit this 5 times on the dock. They're not going to be removed from the simulator or from the sims. And similarly, you cannot bring a player that we have projected out into the simulator. That also will not work. So that's still not an option, but everything else should work the same. So let's just go ahead and try this out, and I can give you sort of an example of how this works. So let's say for last week's slate, I have this set to ETR small field, and then for the ownership percentage here, we see that it's expected to be about 39 for Rico Dowdle. I already have some lineups created. I'm gonna go ahead and simulate, and let's do like, for example, the game changer, and I'm gonna go ahead and run that. The other thing that I want to point out is that especially for these small contests, particularly in the very small contests, like, this is a 282 contest, every time you hit the sim button, there's going to be some variability on the ownership. This is largely by design because we want to, part of our decision on this was that we want to introduce some of this variability into the product because we don't pretend like we're going to get the ownership exactly correct. So there's just going to be some variability here and there, and that's a feature, not a bug. So if I go ahead and hit this, at this point here, you can see what the ownership came in at. So I had boosted Rico Dowdle, so he came in at 55.7 in this run versus the projected 40. And if I ran this a couple more times, you will see a different number here, as you will for the other players as well. And so yeah, I just sort of wanted to note that, that especially for the small contests, the different runs will be significantly different. But outside of that, I think just playing around with this, you will get an idea pretty quickly of how everything works. Another thing I want to point out is this is really designed to allow you to change a player or 2 or 3 at a time. It is not really designed to let you change 10 or 15 or 20 players ownerships. If you do change 20 players ownerships, I think you'll notice that many of your requests will be met, but not necessarily all. So we definitely recommend changing a few players where you have strong opinions that you disagree with our ownership projections, but we do not recommend changing everyone's sim ownership up or down, as the more edits you make, the less likely it is that all your requests will be met. If you have any questions, please let us know at support@thesolver.com.